It's Limbo, but the boy is wearing a red shirt. Nah, but for reals now. Inside is not necessarily a horror game, rather it's a game which has horror elements such as a chilling atmosphere and a rather disturbing scene or two. So I say it fits here in Spooky Month because whilst it may not be a dedicated horror title, it does do enough to earn itself a slot for the month. I had originally wanted to pick up something new like Scorn or maybe cover Agony from a few years back, however I couldn't see Scorn on the PS Store, which would mean I'd need to go and do a PC game, and that's more hassle than it's worth. And as for Agony, well, it has too many boobies and willies for YouTube's liking, so I would need to blur the whole thing to high heaven or employ so many censor bars that the screen would basically just be a censor bar. Also, Agony is just kind of bad and I'm happy to not have to dive back into that mess of a game. It's not actually fun playing bad games, it's just kind of, well, bad. So what's Inside got going for itself then? Let's see. Inside opens on a nameless, faceless kid sliding down a slope in the forest at night. We're not given any real instructions, and we need to rely on our video game instinct of moving right until the game tells us to stop. I should point out now that there is no dialogue in this game, and the story is ambiguous to say the least. The most we hear from any of the characters are screams of abject horror and moans of utter despair later in the game. We make our way through the woods at night and quickly find ourselves needing to avoid some nasty looking men and their big mean dogs. So at least unlike in Limbo, there's a bit more of a plot going on this time around, but I guess plot is the wrong word? It's more that we have a setting and a loose background story that we're not really a part of, just sort of walking alongside, but don't take that the wrong way. It's very much a game that allows a player to decide just how invested they are. You might wonder why we're seeing creepy science people and masses of zombies, or you might just be content with the puzzles and the platforming. Gameplay is straightforward enough. We can move left to right, we can jump and we can grab things. All of the puzzles are built around these limited mechanics and are done so quite well. As we progress, we find out that unlike in Limbo, we can swim, and we're introduced to some puzzles that are based around the water level, and later on we meet Samara, who is still kinda pissed off about the whole being dead thing, and she tries to drown us, so we've got to find ways to avoid her. Truth be told, there are not many enemies in this game that really threaten the player. A lot of the challenge is based around the puzzles, though there are still plenty of ways to get yourself killed. One puzzle has you need to cross a walkway with some distant thing producing lethal shockwaves every so often. You need to time your crossing just right and make use of cover accordingly. A few puzzles have you need to shield yourself from a light that will shoot a deadly harpoon at you if you get spotted. My personal favourites though were the puzzles based around controlling some brainwashed people to get them to assist you. We don't really know why there are all these people being brainwashed or why there seems to be a big evil company type thing doing shady shit, but to be fair, we're playing as a child who is probably just as confused as we are. Of course, this might not be true. He might have had an agenda the whole time, and at the end of the game we might have almost achieved it, or perhaps we completely achieved it. It's all left rather ambiguous. I won't spoil the end of the game because it is quite delightfully fucked up, and I do think you should play it for yourself to see it for yourself. Just be prepared for a lot of confusion and some of what I might even call body horror, but then again, no spoilers. Oh dear, I seem to have run out of things to say. This is troublesome. Vera, you got anything to add? Vera? Vera? Oh right, she's not here today. Riley, you got anything? Fangirl? Anyone? PS5, you want to hop on and try to convince us that you're worth a damn? I really hope today wasn't the day we're meant to be fumigating. Who am I going to ask now? Ooh, I know. Ah, there we go. So, Mr. Torture Demon, do you have anything you'd like to say about Inside to help pad out the video?
We are beyond using such things for entertainment. There are greater pleasures and pains to experience.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
So, you doing anything later, handsome?
I think we should just be friends.
Well, screw you too. Inside is quite a good little game. It's of appropriate length and is well crafted. I love just how minimalist the art style is and how it doesn't interfere with how expressive the characters are. I enjoyed solving the puzzles and progressing through the world, which was really bleak and low-key intimidating, but in the best possible way. I do wish we had a bit more to go on. I love me some story. Story is my cocaine, but I don't think the fact that the game is tight-lipped about the narrative really hurts the game at all. It really is just my preference. God damn, we're already through this week's topic. I've covered everything. Well, not the soundtrack. It's understated and fits the game like a glove. Balls, now I really am out of things to say. Oh well, probably for the best. Got some busy weeks coming up I do, so it might be a good thing to get a head start on some videos. I still really want to discuss Sackboy: A Big Adventure and play some of that Disney Dreamlight Valley thing, because as much as I dislike Disney as a company, I will admit to being a sucker for a lot of the stuff they put out there. So my final thoughts on Inside are that it's a good game and is worth playing. It's a bit short, but then it doesn't really need to be any longer than it is. It only would have hurt the game really, plus it freed up plenty of time for me to go back and play some more Dark Souls 3. I started a new character the other day. I'm using a glaive this time because I love the look of the weapon, and it lets me engage in melee with less risk to myself because I'm half a mile away from the enemy. So yeah, enjoy this Dark Souls 3 footage. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this month's spooky theme. It's a shame I didn't get a chance to cover more horror games due to time and budgetary restraints, but who knows, maybe next year. So thank you for watching, my lovelies, and I will see you next time.